Okay, guess what? Hannah's here in Colorado with me.
We are together. This is so exciting.
Okay, Hannah is, just so you guys know, if you're new to the group, Hannah actually lives in Charleston, South Carolina, and she is here in Colorado. We've actually never met in real life. Okay, we have been working together now for like 2 years in the emotional eating support group. In our emotional eating decoded, helping you guys with feeling like wanting to feel more peaceful and confident around food. And we've been doing it from thousands of miles apart. And this is the first time we're together. And so we've been working on some really exciting stuff together, really, really big stuff. So we'll be dropping some fun news on that later, but really just we're so excited we're together. This is our first live ever together. Usually we're on our own separate Zoom screens. So this is our little secret that we've been kind of holding on to.
Surprise
Our
for you.
secret surprise for you.
Extra special just to have both of us in the same room together.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
We're going to talk about, so if you're new, every Monday, which we usually do a live training. Yesterday I was traveling and things got a little crazy. So we moved it to today. Thank you so much for being flexible and patient with us. And so tonight or today, we're going to be talking about how to stop finding comfort in food and crave health. Oh my gosh, we would be so rich now if we would hear this like, but Hannah, wait, if I stop controlling food, I'll just eat junk and I'll gain weight, all the weight, and I'll never be healthy and I'll never crave healthy food if I let go of control.
Mm-hmm.
And we get it.
Yeah.
We get how it's so easy to fall into that. And we're both here to tell you how possible it is to let go of control. And once you stop trying to reach for food for comfort or stop controlling your food, you actually do begin to crave health in a natural way. And the way that we approach food is different. And this is what this group is all about, is to really decode emotional eating, because we are reaching for food to soothe us, to give us something, right? And we're here to kind of decode it and get to the underneath layers of why we do what we do.
Yeah.
So we're going to break down how to stop finding comfort in food and crave health. And we are going to teach you what keeps you stuck in the cycle of going to food when you're stressed, and why it's hard to crave healthy foods when you're still trying to control food. You know, it's like that whole up and down yo-yo of I do good and then I don't do good. And during the week I do good, the weekends I don't, during the day I do good, and then at night I don't. Like, how many of us as do that? Like, comment below and say hi, by the way.
Yeah, say hi. Say hi to us. We're like, so we're checking comments on our phones. We want to respond to your comments. So please say hi, where you're from, and like, do you resonate with this? Like, a lot of times, like, we have people in this group that are stuck in the cycle. Like, they only go to food when they're stressed. We have people ask us seriously all the time, like, how do you crave healthy foods? Like, we'll talk about this in a minute, but we actually had a client last week that I had the text in the screenshot. She was like, oh my gosh, I actually started craving a salad. She's like, what kind of psychology madness is this? And like, we were like, like, we get so excited because we're like, yes, like, people get so afraid that they're just going to only crave junk food. Like, is that you? Like, are you afraid if you make peace with food, or if you really start letting go, that you'll only want junk food? Is that you? Comment yes or no below. That's a really, really big fear. So we're going to be talking about that too, is what can you do so you can start craving healthy foods?
And I want to say hi to Melissa and Kim.
Hey, Kim.
Oh my gosh. Hi. So good to see you.
Awesome. So guys, don't let your fear of controlling food stop you from living life to the fullest. So let's dive into number one. Okay. Why it's hard to crave healthy foods when you're still trying to control your food. So again, when you're trying to control your food, AKA dieting or restricting your food in any amount, you usually accidentally demonize foods, right? This is where you're like, okay, well, these foods are good and these foods are bad. We just did like, should I say
What? Yeah.
Okay. We did a photo shoot. I didn't know if like we were going to keep it a secret. We got to do a photo shoot today. And we had so much fun because we had like all kinds of different foods. We had salad, we had donuts, we had M&Ms, and we had cucumbers. And here's what we're portraying is that like it is possible to crave healthy foods. It is possible, but if you are restricting your foods or you're dieting or you're trying to control how many carbs you're eating or only eat 5 M&Ms, not 6, okay, if you're telling yourself that some foods are good, like, salads are good and French fries are bad, that mentality will keep you not craving healthy foods. Okay. You will continue this cycle of overeating those quote unquote unhealthy foods because it's like an emotional restriction. You are telling yourself you can't have it. It's like a little kid. Hannah and I have kids the same age. If you went up to your child or any kind of kid and said, there's actually a study done on this. There's a study done where researchers put a group of kids in a room. There was red M&Ms and yellow M&Ms. And the researchers told the children, you cannot eat any of the red M&Ms. You can only eat the yellow ones. Which M&Ms do you think got the most attention? The red ones. Okay. Because they were told they couldn't eat it. Okay. So once you start making peace with food and you start our process of food habituation and allowing all foods, this mentality of good and bad and trying to control which foods you eat goes away naturally. Okay. It does take time and it is a process though that we teach you, right? Like Hannah and I now, this is actually a good example. I picked her up from the airport last night. It was a crazy day, and which is why we didn't go live last night. It was a crazy day. And I pick her up and we get home and we're like kind of making dinner. And she's like, oh my gosh, it's just like salad and like vegetables sounds so good because, traveling is kind of hard on your body. But I remember when I used to travel, it was like this all or nothing, like craziness. Like once I was on that airplane, like it was all or nothing. Like I would just eat everything and I just wouldn't stop the entire trip. So pretty crazy. So,
but it's the whole thing is like giving yourself allowance to eat. And, when we tell ourselves we can't have something like Sierra said, we want it even more. And I think there's this challenge of, oh yeah, I'm going to allow myself to eat this. Consciously, we understand I'm going to allow myself to eat this, but subconsciously, these beliefs that we have about food being bad or wrong, or I shouldn't be doing this, are running behind the scenes. So what it does, it takes a little bit of time to begin to practice giving yourself permission to eat what you want to eat. And at the same time, really letting go of the guilt and the shame and the feeling bad about it, because we've been trained so much of like, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be eating this way, that it's so ingrained in us. It's hard to just like cut it off, right? In our empowered eating program, like this is what we're working with people right now, is the allowing to eat the food that you want to eat. And once you begin to like destigmatize and take away the charge that food has on you, the labeling, the good, the bad, then you know what that does? It frees you up. It frees you up to actually have the choice. And me and Sierra were talking about this. What was a big change for me is when I decided I can have this and I don't have to have this. And it was like, before it's like, I shouldn't have this, but I want this. See, do you feel the difference of that? And so I would repeat it over and over again. I can have this and I don't have to have this. And it's like, you're giving yourself that permission, the choice, because it is always a choice. When we put the power back into our hands and make it our choice, not the food's choice, because when it's a food's choice, then you feel out of control. But when it's your choice, then you begin to be like, oh, I can have it or not have it. Wow, what does that actually feel like to have it or not to have it? I mean, like, I'm sorry, we keep on repeating it, but it's like, I had to repeat it over and over within myself. And once I started to repeat it more and more, I was like, ooh, okay, so what if I do have it. Okay. Yeah, I might not feel so good and my energy feels really good right now. And maybe I don't want that. And what if I didn't have it? Would I want it later? You know what I mean? You have to kind of play with it, but you're giving yourself the choice to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And once you start doing that and you start like taking that pressure off you, then your body begins to signal. You're taking yourself out of that stress response. You're turning back into that relaxed response in your nervous system, which then your body is able to send different signals and like, oh yes, that's when you begin to start craving salads or vegetables or things that really nourish you, because you are no longer like having this restriction and contraction around food.
Yep, absolutely. And we were talking about this earlier too, because that's what we do. So we talk about food and psychology and eating and body image pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
But we are talking about, okay, like we're really getting to in our own journey and like what we teach in our empowered eating program, like how do we help people with this like all or nothing mentality? And the more that we really get to the bottom of why do I care, or like what is this fear that's driving my control around around food, right? We have a lot of clients that have this fear of eating at night, right? Like, not to get into too much because that's what we're talking about in our group call, but it's like, okay, you're like, why can I not just have more control around food at night? Or why aren't I not craving vegetables? And for me, this nighttime eating thing where like every night after the kids went to bed, I like had to have a brownie or ice cream or something sweet, like every single night. And I was like, why do I keep doing this? Like, this is going to be bad. This is wrong. This is going to mess up my metabolism. I'm going to gain weight. My fear was gaining weight. Okay.
It's not the food.
It's not the food that you fear. It's not the control of the food that you fear. It's the control of the weight. And that is like the deep, like nitty gritty underneath all of it is this fear of weight gain. And we really unpack that in our program. Like, where does that come from? Like, where is that in my body? Like, what happened to where I'm so fearful of weight gain? What do I make that mean? So once I really address this fear of weight gain, like, wow, okay. And then I really started allowing myself, I'm like, I'm going to eat whatever I want at night in any amount, as late as I want. I'm just going to allow it. I'm not going to be afraid of weight gain. I'm just going to focus on how my body feels. Once I actually allowed that and addressed that underlying fear of weight gain, it was like this immense pressure off of myself. Like, if I, like Hannah was talking about, if I want to eat a brownie at night, I do. And it's like, whatever. And if I don't, it's like, whatever. It's just really not a big deal. So there is no more control over me at night. It's like, if I want a brownie and if I want a big bowl of ice cream brownie, then I have it. And there's many nights a week I do that. Right now, today, like this week. What did we eat last night? Oh, a banana muffin. Banana muffin with
frosting.
Hot pink frosting that my daughter made. Like, you know, that was what we had last night. And then there's other nights where I'm like, meh, I'm good. That, I feel like you would say that that's control. And what that is that's just really like that's really just being at peace with my body and with food. I'm like, this is where it is right now. And that is not like a flip of the switch.
If you were at peace with your body, what would you choose to eat? You know what I mean? Like, and if you were at peace with your body, would eating that handful of M&Ms mean anything? You know what I mean? Like, no. It really comes down to that. I'm gonna read some of these comments. Hey Tammy, so good to see you guys. Kim says, gotta run. Love seeing you both together. We love you too, Kim. Tammy says, so true. As soon as I say something is off limits, it's all I want.
Yep.
Yes. And Melissa says, yes, I am only craving junk. And then she asks, does this apply to time restriction too? I try not to feel too frustrated at myself for night overeating. I try to be indifferent, but I'm not going. I fully am indifferent.
Yeah.
But let's see here.
I'm not saying maybe I'm fully indifferent. I think it's probably there's some sort of concern. Like, what's the, like, ask
there's
yourself.
Still belief back in the back of your head.
There's still some sort of fear that there's a fear there. Like, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of if you eat at night? Answer that question. Like, what are you afraid of? And that's what we need to address, right? All right, let's move on to number 2.
Okay. Number 2. So what keeps you stuck in the cycle of going to food when you're stressed? Now, this is a big one. You're stressed, right? So you're reaching for food. Mm-hmm. It's really about stress management. And when we talk about stress management, it's like, let's look at your self-care practices. And when I mean self-care practice means like yourself and how are you caring for yourself in every present moment? You know, are you not giving yourself the time to rest, restore, relax, breathe? Are you stressing over everything outside of you that you have no control of? Mm-hmm. This is what self-care really is. And it's like you're trying to move towards love, happiness, safety, relaxation. So what is the fear that phases, like the fear underneath, like letting go of the control and what you're stressed about? And a lot of it, what we just talked about, is weight gain, right? And there's this charge that happens. You're stressed and then you eat for comfort because you're stressed. And what it does, when we put food in our body, when we are stressed, it numbs us. It does. It is a coping mechanism.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's like, it's what it does is it stops you from feeling anything, right? But then once you're done, you have to resume. The stress never goes away. It just kind of gets piled on top of the food, right?
Yeah.
It gets just piled back into your body. So we have to really think about how we're caring for ourselves. I love caring for yourself rather than self-care. Like, how are you caring for yourself? How is your sleep, your life balance, your stress management? What are other strategies that you can start incorporating into your life to help you with stress management? Because I feel like stress is like a choice.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
We have a choice of how we react and respond to life and things, right? And we often initiate this stress response or this stressed feeling because it feels uncomfortable. And what if we were able to manage this stress and see things differently and like have a different perception about what is happening and how we're caring for ourselves within every moment to actually begin to feel more ease, regardless of what's happening on the outside. It is more of like, it's like turning the blinders in and focusing on your internal state and really tuning into what you need on an energetic, emotional, mental, spiritual, physical level in every moment. Because there's times where, like yesterday, it took me 12 hours to get to Colorado, and it was supposed to be a 2-hour trip. It took me 12 hours. And through that time, I could have gotten angry, stressed out. Oh my gosh, what's happening? And I could have all these emotions about it, right? And all these feelings about it. And yeah, I could have turned to food because it's freaking annoying. At the same time, since I've been practicing this for a long time, I'm like, okay, I got time. What can I do? So I did some studying. I read a book. I walked around a little bit, and it was just like, okay, I have this free time that I have nothing to do, and how I viewed it and how I participated in my time it made the trip, like, yeah, it was long and tiring, but not once did I get stressed. It was like, there was peace because I was like, this is what it is. Or you could be angry about it and frustrated and feel taxed by the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what strategies are you using and practicing besides using food to cope with your stress? Okay. Are you tired? Do you have underlying anxiety that's coming out in food? Are you feeling unworthy or inadequate about something? Like maybe your boss said some sort of comment that you're like, made you feel not good enough. Like, is that what triggered it? You know, are you feeling lonely? Right. So there's a lot of emotions that we also need to manage with self-care that might not just be about food. Okay. All right. So number 3, what can you do to start craving healthy foods like our client texted us last week? Number 1, stop restricting and dieting. That's always going to be number 1.
Always.
Pretty much.
Always
with
number 1.
anything.
And we're going to repeat this.
We're going to keep saying it
again.
And we help you. We help you with that process. I know it's like easier said than done. Like a lot of people don't even know they're restricting or dieting. They're like, oh, I'm just doing a 30-day cleanse. And it's like, okay. So we help you. Like, what is that? We will help you. Stop restricting and dieting. Number 2, make peace with food. Allow all foods. Practice habituation. Habituation is something we talk about in our program as well. Like allowing food. Number 3, practicing intuitive eating. Okay. Easier said than done. There are a lot of pitfalls with intuitive eating. We love it. And it's not like the holy grail of making peace with food. Okay. But it is very important.
Intuitive eating is eating normal.
Yeah.
It's just eating normal. It's just eating.
It's just eating.
It's really what intuitive is based on. And I think we can make it like, oh, I got to do this and this and this. It's just eating.
You can make it into a diet.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Intuitive eating. Number 4, like self-care check-in, like make sure things in your life are balanced. Like, how are you managing your stress? How are you managing it's like your autonomic nervous system. If it's like overloaded because of anxiety and stress, like how are you managing that? Sleep, like what we talked about earlier, right? Like make sure your self-care is in check. Number 5, self-awareness without judgment. So this is like the curiosity mindset, right? Why do I want to eat healthy foods? Like, why do I want to focus on my health? Like why is this important to me? You can focus on health and how you feel when you're not focused on weight. Okay. Take your focus off of weight, put it on the back burner. When you put weight on the back burner, you can actually intuitively eat. Like you can actually be normal with food. You can have a better relationship with food. You can eat like a normal person. You can crave healthy salads when you're not constantly focusing on weight. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to read some comments. So Tammy says, not eating at night for me is more about knowing that I sleep better when I don't. I still do it sometimes, but not usually because I like my sleep. Yeah. And that right there is self-awareness, Tammy. So good. She also says, I realized I had food rule that I didn't know. I wanted popcorn after dinner, but usually I only allowed myself that instead of dinner. Oh. So it was a big deal to go ahead and allow myself to have the popcorn this week. Crazy. Those rules get hidden in. Yeah. It's like, and they're sneaky and sometimes we don't realize it. And rules can kind of be a little bit like habits. Yeah. Too.
Yeah.
Like just a habit thing.
Like they're so sneaky. Like we talk about this in our program too, how to find those sneaky food rules. Hey Kim. One of the rules could be like, don't eat too many M&Ms. Like that's a restriction. When people are like, oh, I'm not on a diet. I just don't want to eat too many M&Ms. Like that's probably why you're still emotionally eating, right? Yeah. One last thing, and then we're going to like start to wrap up, but consider this. When it comes to emotional eating and control around food, like, would you really care that you were emotionally eating if you were okay with your weight and you were okay with your body? Like, would emotional eating even be a big deal? They're like, okay, so you ate some M&Ms. Like, yeah, it was a crappy day at work. Your boss yelled at you and you came home and had some M&Ms.
Well, it's like the attachment. Now that you bring that up, it's like the attachment that we have on food, right? Yeah. M&M's bad equals fat. Yeah. Equals bad. Equals if I'm fat, then that's bad. That's unhealthy. Yeah. So this is what me and Sierra do. We help people. We help you rewire, decode, release the stress, and find freedom with food. We help people stop feeling crazy around food. So if this was helpful to you, drop a yes and let us know. And it's like, you always have the power and the choice to take back the power. And this is why we do what we do. And this is why eating psychology is the work that we love, is because it's more than just the food. It's more about who we are, what's going on with us and our life is what is going to help us create the change that we want and desire. And yeah, we want to help you. We want to help you going from
feeling out of control and crazy around food. We want to help you from emotional eating, stress eating, binge eating. We want to help you go from that to feeling peace and freedom around food. Because here's the problem we see, right? One of our clients, Katie, she was really struggling with not having control over what she ate. She was in a constant like fight with food, and she was constantly worried about gaining weight. She was really, really scared to try a new way of looking at food. Then she joined our Empowered Eating Inner Circle, and her problems with food, like, oh my gosh, she's like, seriously,
It's like
180 degree shift. Like, it's such a joy having her. Her relationship with food and all of her problems with food has improved tremendously. So how many of you want to solve this problem once and for all and finally have your own freedom, peace, self-control, and confidence back? How many of you are ready to finally end the fight, eat normal, and just feel good and healthy and crave salads, right?
Who wants to crave a
Who
salad?
wants to crave a salad? Just comment yes, like comment yes if that's something that you are ready for.
I know, and Cassie says, I'm so stressed about weight that no matter how healthy I eat, I don't lose weight.
Yeah.
And, you know, like it's the whole stress part, right? The more we stress about something, the harder it is to get the results that we want.
Yeah.
So we just want to spend a few minutes just talking about what we do, who we are, and what we have, and just want to extend an invitation for you guys to work with us and potentially like really dial in on this so we can help you with the challenges. So we're coaches and we coach people on how to feel empowered around food and decode emotional eating. How many days are we going to allow to go by to keep this struggle and this cycle of just like doing good, doing bad, off, on track, and this yo-yo of emotions that arise every time we have this struggle? So it's about letting go, right? And it's like, how many of us are struggling with overeating, eating too much sugar, binge eating, numbing out with food, sneaking and hiding those chocolate and chocolate chips, and not knowing how to handle your emotions and just feeling like out of control and crap? Like, how do you sleep with that constantly over your head? How do you want to sleep? Do you want to be able to go to bed and feel like you did everything that you did, like could during the day, and you did your best and you feel good about it and feel empowered? Think of like how you'll be able to sleep, because we need peace to survive, to really thrive. So again, we're coaches, and this is what we do. We create peace, how to trust your body, how to have a system of emotional eating to help themselves to be in control. We're really good at this. Like, we've seen huge transformations in our inner circle.
Yeah.
Like, I am blown away of like the transformation. And it's not always, we think that we have to like change everything. It's just these little things that really begin to shift, that should begin to get bigger shifts. And then your whole way of being is different. And so our mythology, we've really perfected over the last couple of years working together. And really in 2020, we got it down to a science.
Yeah.
And when Elizabeth started out with us, she was ashamed of her body. She was tired of dieting and having food rules like just all the time, to now she's having a more positive outlook on food and her body. She appreciates herself, and she's actually enjoying the process and journey of acceptance and feeling more at peace. Like, she has the self-awareness to recognize when old beliefs start to rise up and be able to shift them and not get attached to them, which is going to bring her down, right? She's like rises up when she now notices these beliefs that come up. And so we talk to people daily about this, and we just want people to be happy and excited.
Yeah.
You know, and
like, I feel like we were just talking about this earlier, like we have a special group for our Empowered Eating Inner Circle people. And like, we're in there every day. Like, people are sharing and like sharing their wins and sharing their challenges. And we're going through it together. Like, every day we're having these conversations with the people that are just, they're so excited and like transformed. Like, it's such so just like warms my heart. Like I love our group. It's expanding and it's growing. And, you know, again, we specialize in helping people decode their emotional eating. And we have a framework in place for their eating and their life that really inspires them and lights them up. And, you know, we plug you into our methodology to help you with your emotional eating and to regain the confidence that you need. And we teach you this framework step by step. And there's also, like we said, there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes that you can't really see as well that we do in our group, but it's time. It is time to solve this once and for all.
Yeah. And like this group right now and the trainings that we have, this is a lot of value and gives you a lot. But if you want to go deeper into like how to actually like do this, how to actually start taking the steps forward in these methods that we're teaching you, and you're watching this and you'd be like, I want your help. Like we have a coaching program where we teach you all of this, you know, like Sierra said, it's step by step. We aren't going to get into the details too much about it right now. There's a time and place for that. But if you'd like to work with us and you like to have peace and freedom with food, like us, like the people in our program, then we would love for you to get on a free call with us. So type in free. And me and Sierra will reach out to you right away. We'll start a conversation and we'll get on a 15-minute game plan call. And all this call is, it is not sales. And that's, you know, I love that. It just takes the pressure off. Like we're not trying to sell you into the program. We actually just want to know where you're at. And I was talking to someone last week of just like sharing what's going on with you can be so powerful. Because how often are we hiding because we feel ashamed of our eating behaviors, right? And so this call is really just to see where you are. And then if it is a good idea for both of us, then we can get on a different call that actually talks about the program more. But this first call, we just really want to serve and help you and really give you a lot of value and some steps to move in the right direction.
Absolutely. Yeah, we want you to get a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Like being in this place of emotional eating and overeating and feeling out of control is so not fun, and it's really miserable. So thank you guys, those who have reached out already. We have some comments popping up. So thanks for commenting. I know Stacy said like yes, and Christina, Tammy, like Cassie, thank you guys. Kim, thank you guys for being on live and watching. Remember, like this is no selling, it's just a 15-minute game plan call. We're going to give you some homework, some additional trainings to look at, and we'll go through what it's like to work with us. We're super, super excited. If you're interested in this, just comment below free or me, and we'll reach out to you and we'll just chat on Messenger and get you set up with a call. So, you know, if you choose to do this framework with us, if you choose to do our programs, like we're some of the best, you know, like we're helping hundreds of people. There's no one out there that really does exactly like what we do and our approach and our methodology with our training and our knowledge. And we, you know, we feel really confident we can help most people we get on the phone with, but we do want to just make sure it's a good fit. So comment below free. Thanks so much.
Tammy says if I didn't already have a coach, she would hire us. And she did a program with us before. And she's like, you guys are amazing. People should work with you for sure.
Oh, thanks, you, Tammy. We love you.
We love you.
We love you.
And we love everyone that joined us today. If you're watching live or the replay, we appreciate your comments. We love your engagement. We are here to serve you in the highest because you deserve to feel good about yourself, to feel at peace with your body, with food, because think about this. How much is food taking up in your mind, in your life? And what would you be doing if it wasn't there? If it wasn't that thing that is like weighing over you? There's so much to life, you know, and so much freedom that is available to you. And me and Sierra are both, we've been there. We know exactly how you feel. And that's why our program is so special, because we walked ourselves through it, right? And we were able to get onto the other side, and we want you to get onto the other side too. Yay.
Well, we'll talk to you guys soon. Hannah and I probably won't be together live for a while, but it's been fun. So thanks for hopping on. I know it was a special time this week, but we will plan on seeing you next Monday at our regular time, 8 p.m. Eastern on Mondays are our live trainings. Be sure you have our group like pinned to the top so you can see our announcements, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right.
Bye.